I was not expecting Epiphone to do this model. Welcome back, Troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. Yeah, Epiphone just randomly came out with the Jim James ES-335 model. We just saw the Gibson version in 2021, and those things were a massive hit. But that was also during the COVID era, where everything brand new would sell out instantaneously and then be flipped for more money. But those were $3,500 and would typically sell between $4,000 and $4,500. Currently today, there are none available. So I'm really glad I kept one of those back. So seemingly due to the success of the Gibson version, they're doing an Epiphone one at $899. And I love the way that they've treated this because look, we've got the return of the owl case. Obviously, it's made in China this time instead of a custom shop case on a Gibson USA. But let's go ahead and check out the new Epiphone version. Oh wow, that's a really dark finish. That's darker than most of the Gibson ones that I've seen. But let's see if they got everything else right about this thing. So the main features to the Gibson one was the 70s Walnut brown finish. So far, this particular version, I think it came out a little bit too dark. I'm not sure if they're all like this. But they've got the signature piece symbol up here. But the big question is there an owl on the back? Yes, there is. And they have the upgraded Kluson waffle back tuners on here. So they have nearly every single identifying key feature from the Gibson version compact onto this $899 Epiphone one. So I just thought that was worthy of a re-review because I'm appreciative of this. These things are really cool. Side by side, can you tell which one is the Epiphone? It's this one. So besides the finish just being a little bit too dark, I would say they did a fantastic job side by side. I mean, yeah, we've technically got Indian Laurel fretboard on the Epiphone versus the Rosewood on the original, but they did this model justice as far as recreating all the other cool attributes. Now our owl is a little bit larger on the Gibson case. This appears to be like some sort of a decal that they put on there, whereas this more has the impression and feel that it was sprayed on with a stencil or something similar. You can see your Epiphone style stitching. It is a slightly cheaper case, but doesn't feel too bad. Whereas over here, this is actually a Gibson custom shop style case. So it was really cool that a Gibson USA did get these, but they have a bad habit of the latches not lining up due to when these things were made. And this case has a really bright, vibrant yellow. It's in your face, whereas over here it's more of a mustard yellow, but it's a nice tribute. So if you need to learn more about the signature artist of this one, you can check out my Gibson review, because the only thing we have left to do is see how this one sounds and take a look at its innards. But before we get to that workbench segment, today's video was brought to you by a viewer of the show through my new Guitar Day program. Gary bought this one and watches my show with his 8-year-old son Grady. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoy your new guitar. If there's a brand new model guitar that you would like to see documented on the show first before you get it, you can check out my website for more details. Alright, let's go ahead and uncover these secrets, starting with our pickups. So these are the Epiphone Alnico Classic Pro set. So they didn't go full on put Gibson pickups in here, but that helps keep the price down for this one. And in the past, some Epiphone pickups actually sound pretty good. Now despite the electronics not being Gibson USA, they still use the orange drop capacitors and 500K CTS pots. So if you wanted to upgrade these to Gibson pickups, it wouldn't be that hard, but you're probably going to need a tech's help because you don't have a backplate control access. You gotta fish it through all this stuff. As far as our readings within the circuit, bridge is 7.89 k ohms, our neck is 7.64, and the middle position for fun, 3.88. Let's take a look at our cavities. Usually you'll have a big QR code on here that tells you about the model, but it looks like that one might have got ripped off at the factory. But you can see our long neck tenon construction, and it's a very clear shot of your maple center block with the mahogany neck. Then you can see your nice cross-section of woods. So the spec sheet says it's layered maple for the top, and it's created the same way as a Gibson one. And looking at here, I was always curious if layered maple meant they don't actually do the poplar layer in between, but this looks like it does have a slightly different color wood in between. But you've got 3 layers forming the top, then you have your spruce bracing before you get to the center maple block. Then you'll have that exact same thing underneath the block, which you can see over here in your bridge pickup cavity, because that's the other side of the spruce bracing. Also, you don't usually see a big route like that right here. I think they come out the side if I remember correctly, so that's a little bit different. Good wire management. So honestly, I'm impressed about the construction of this one. It's actually pretty clean for a semi-hollow guitar out of the Gibson family of brands. As far as your bridge and tailpiece, it's your typical Locktone series from Epiphone, so nothing too groundbreaking there. And then our pickguard stock from the factory does have a film over top of it. We've got our salmon block on the back, as I call them. And it's your typical 2 volumes and 2 tones, 1 set for each pickup. And even on the workbench with the very bright lights, this is just such a darker hue. But if you really look for it, you can see the wood grain underneath. So that's either a good or bad thing, depending on how you feel about boring brown finish. Personally, I like it a little bit lighter. And then we do have one of the orange labels inside, just like the Gibson version. But moving on from our primarily maple body, we've got our mahogany neck with the Indian laurel fretboard with acrylic dot inlays. Everything's looking pretty good here. I just conditioned it because they're usually pretty dry when they come straight out of the factory. As far as QC goes, when they were filing down the side of the frets, you can see they caught the fretboard just a tad. You see that quite often on Epiphone models, even some Gibsons. It's not too bad on this example. However, I feel they could have cleaned the binding up a little bit better in that area. It's just a little bit uneven. We've got a 24 3/4 inch scale length with a 12-inch fretboard radius. First fret neck depth of 1.7, 12th chunks up to 2.11. First fret neck depth, pretty skinny, 0.81, and stays skinny, 0.92 by the 12th. They call this a custom Jim James signature neck profile. C-neck slim taper. I would say that rings pretty true. Here it is at the first fret and the 12th fret. Here's a look at our 3-screw truss rod cover with his custom insignia. Truss rod's in there if you need it. And you have your pearloid crown with Epiphone logo. But this is one of few Epiphones that actually use an upgraded tuner. That's kind of interesting. I know we had the Joe Bonamassa kind of interesting looking ones from his Black Beauty, but these look like the exact same ones that they used on the Gibson version, not like a cheapened version. The back is just as dark as the front, so we really don't have too much to talk about back here. But we've got a strap button down here, and one at the base of the heel, and we've got more of the same running up the neck. But I actually want to take a look at this owl decal. I would say the Epiphone version did it better, because the Gibson version always had like a haziness to it, and some of them weren't applied as well as others. This one's not too bad of an example. But the Epiphone is much more crisp and clear. And we've got all our usual stickers back here, handcrafted in China. But I love Kluson waffle back tuners. They just look so fancy. And this does not have a serial number back here. It's only that serial number sticker on the inside. All said and done, this one weighs just a hair under 8 pounds. So let's go ahead, plug it in, and hear how it sounds. Yeah, nothing wrong with those pickups at all. They actually sound pretty good. Let's try some dirt. fun here, a comparison. Now that we know all about the Jim James ES-335 Epiphone version, what are my final thoughts on this thing? Honestly, it stacks up really well in comparison to the Gibson one. In fact, I think I even prefer the chord tones out of the Epiphone. However, when you start to do some more soloing on the Gibson, that's when you can really tell how those pickups sing just a little bit differently. $900 is expensive, but I mean, there's nothing wrong with these pickups. You do not need to change them. Pretty much the biggest difference between the Gibson and the Epiphone comes down to how Epiphones feel on the neck. They've definitely gotten a lot better than they were in the past, but there's definitely a difference between the fret materials and the neck. I am a bit let down that the finish is just so dark on these things. I mean, maybe I just got a particularly dark example, but that's pretty much the only thing that I didn't love about this thing. So if you're looking for a 70s inspired 335, I think you might enjoy one of these. So try one out at a store if you happen to see one. All right, Troglodytes, thank you for tuning in today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you tomorrow on the next one. Take care.
If you enjoyed tonight's episode, consider subscribing. I post videos like this every day. And you might even enjoy this next one.